Bitcoin consolidates as some altcoins take their turns in seeing some gains. Is Bitcoin ready and prepped for bullish continuation, or is it time for a little bit of a throwback? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that subscribe and like on the way in. Let's jump into this Bitcoin video. I'm going to break it down on the short-term charts for you, what you need to watch in really, the coming hours, the coming 12 hours or so. Very important. So let's start real quick because this has transpired. Really quick clip from yesterday. I'd say support for Bitcoin that I'd be watching, 25,900, this upper trend line, down to right around 25,300 or so. I'd be watching if Bitcoin kind of makes a move down to that area. Is there support? Is there support in that area? Let's go to the hourly chart. Literally, the drawing is still on the screen. And you can see Bitcoin right here, wicked right into that area, 25,790. And on the hourly, and this is good. This is, at least for the short term, Bitcoin is still completely alive and in the running for continuation, really to that $30,000 area, which essentially is kind of this long-term speculative target that we had, but now it's actually, it's forming an actual short-term target. And that's what we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes. But you can see the wick right here in the hourly. We got the bounce off of there, and Bitcoin continuing to consolidate. Another thing to note, going over to the 6 hour real quick, I want to point this out. Right now, Bitcoin, if you look at this wick on the 6 hour, this is essentially this lower trend line to this swing high on the 6 hour. Bitcoin really visiting a Fibonacci retracement support area, this green channel that you can see on the screen. So that's a good sign, but I want to talk about that exact move and everything else going on here on the hourly, because this 6 hour chart is a little bit difficult to really break down. In yesterday's, I think it was yesterday's video, we talked about, maybe it was actually, no, it was yesterday's video. We talked about we need structure, right? From this swing high that Bitcoin actually had yesterday, Bitcoin needs to put in structure, right? It gets very difficult to do technical analysis when there is no structure. We had a support area. That was pretty much all we had to work with. We hit that support, and since then we've consolidated into structure. And from just my eye, just initially, we have this symmetrical triangle of sorts where Bitcoin is really, it's in that last quarter of the apex of the symmetrical triangle. So I really think a breakout either way, up or down, is getting ready to happen. On this hourly chart, we're going to get our answer, I think, soon. You can see in terms of the symmetrical triangle, really it's just been trickling down here at that upper trend line. And it's interesting to see if Bitcoin can actually break above that trend line now, right? And we have a trend line. We didn't have one yesterday. If you remember when I was doing the video, the trend line was just like hanging there speculatively, and you can see it in the video. It was just hanging there. There was no reason to even put it there, but we were speculating a symmetrical triangle, which we have now. And you can see Bitcoin just testing that upper trend line over and over. Now, what we are looking for really are a couple different things. And let me just chart this Fibonacci retracement. So swing high to this swing low at the bottom trend line to the swing high upper trend line. So here's that Fibonacci retracement, and you can see Bitcoin on the hourly. There it is, wicking right to that support area, bouncing up. So at the very least, to the downside, Bitcoin needs to continue to see support above this area, and that is 26,400 down to 26,120. Do you see how support has come up, right? Yesterday it was like down here somewhere, right? And we kind of hit that area of support and bounced up, but now support has moved up. So $26,400 to $26,100 or so. And notice how this Fibonacci retracement is confluent with this apex of this rising wedge that we've just tracked and we've used. And we're continuing to use because those trend lines are still very much in play. Failure at that point, right, the apex here, would be essentially this. It would be a throwback to the apex of that rising channel, the rising wedge that we broke out of. It would be throwback to that area and potentially breaking down. So we'd be breaking the apex and we'd be breaking this short-term Fibonacci support. But it is support, and it's continuing to be support as Bitcoin trades into the apex of the symmetrical triangle right here. So it really, the coming hours are important just in tracking what Bitcoin does and how it interacts with the lower trend line and the upper trend line. Breakout targets, just want to mention it. Breakout target to the upside, 29,300. But you can just see it's essentially that long term, and this is the hourly chart. This might not work zooming out here. I'm just going to go to 6 hours so you can see. It's that long-term trend line that we just talked about speculatively hitting that is so synergistic with the move that Bitcoin had in the summer of 2019. It's almost playing out. That $30,000 area is right along that upper trend line. And really, zooming back in on the hourly chart, Bitcoin breaking out of this symmetrical triangle would be essentially almost pretty much hitting that upper trend line right below $30,000. This could be the move for Bitcoin to hit $30,000. And it's here on the hourly in this setup. To the downside, very important just to talk about it. It's there. We're in a symmetrical triangle. Target to the downside, we're looking at $24,000 or so, just under $24,000, $23,900 for the breakout target to the downside if the symmetrical triangle fails, if the apex fails, if the Fibonacci retracement fails. Based off of that data, plan accordingly, whatever you want to do. Now, I want to note this on the daily chart. This is important. That area, that breakout target area for that symmetrical triangle, right around 24,000. Let's just call it 24,000 for simplicity's sake. You can see on the daily chart, this is more of a midterm looking move. The swing low December 21st that Bitcoin had before really just making a nice move to the upside, most recently to that swing high. You can see the Fibonacci support on the midterm. This could just be a higher low for Bitcoin. Bitcoin coming and consolidating into this area could be very bullish for Bitcoin continuation, right? I mean, we could be on our way up to another higher high in the first week of January based on a move like this. So you can see the Fibonacci retracement, which is that swing low to swing high, back down would be, you can look at this, the 618, 24,300 to the 786, 23,300. Now, our breakout target to the downside, what was it? $24,000. So it would make sense if Bitcoin hit its target out of this symmetrical triangle to the downside and we hit this Fibonacci midterm support, we get consolidation, we can continue to the upside. There's bullishness in downward moves as well, everybody, and it's actually healthy for Bitcoin to sometimes calm down. Even in just the parabolic moves that it's been in for months now, look how Bitcoin has made downside moves, right? Look at this move right here, even right here, and they're essentially turning into higher lows. It's bullish. So that's what I'm looking at on Bitcoin. Want to do a quick update for you. Let's track it. Let's see what happens. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I appreciate you. See you in the next video. God bless.